Welcome, everybody. Hello. Hello. This is Cop On Podcast. My name's Owen. I'm joined by Ryan and Douglas from the Dugout YouTube channel. We are on YouTube live. It's going to go out as the usual audio podcast for the people in the chat in YouTube. Hello, welcome. Stick with us. Get your questions in. This is the big one. We're previewing Manchester City versus Liverpool on Sunday. I can't fricking wait. I'm sure you're the same. And I'm going to start with the first stanza of The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And it goes like this. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Ryan, was that dramatic enough an intro for this dramatic of all dramatic games?
I got chills. It is, but it gives me an impending sense of doom that I don't want to be carrying into Sunday.
Okay.
Unless we're the guns.
How are you feeling about it on a sort of, scale of 1 to 12, with 12 being the most optimistic?
8. I think we've got a really good chance. We've got the momentum behind us. I think there's so much cause to be excited, but that City team is phenomenal, and I think in all of the excitement that we have about our own players, we sometimes forget about this, and sometimes we get bogged down in all the tribalism of football, and we don't like admitting that another team's good, but they're good. They're better than good. They're really good. We're going to have to be better than really good if we want to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. That is very true. Doug, I mean, I was doing lots of research on some stats, and for example, Manchester City have lost just one of their last 12 Premier League home games against Liverpool. They've won 7, they've drawn 4, and the only time they lost was that 4-1 game in Jurgen Klopp's first visit to the Etihad. Remember when Bobby Firmino and Coutinho were on fire in November 2015? So yes, history in that sense is very much against us, but regardless of this, Ryan's still posting an 8 on the optimism scale of 12. Where are you on that scale, and why?
Well, I'm about an 8 as well, to be honest. Also, thank you very much for having me. It has been an absolute age since I was on Cop On, and obviously speaking to Owen and Ryan as well. Yeah, I have to admit that this City side is still a phenomenal team. They've got match winners all around their pitch as well. Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, they're two big game players. But I feel we've got a very, very good chance this weekend. Just because we've got more firepower than they do, in my honest opinion. They don't really have a recognised striker. We don't really either, but I just think the signing of Luis Diaz might be the difference maker on Sunday.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, back in the last game between the clubs, it was 2-2, and for those watching, I can put the lineup on the screen in a moment. But we had Milner, I believe, playing at right back in that game. I'll put it right here on the screen for you, so you can see. We had Alisson in goal, James Milner at right back, Matip and Van Dijk in the centre, and Andy Robertson on the left. Henderson, Fabinho, and Jones in the centre of midfield, and Salah, Jota, and Mane up front. So, I mean, the front three, of Salah, Jota, Mane, very dangerous. We got 2 goals. We conceded 2 goals. But this kind of thing makes me more optimistic because on that day, City were, they had a very, very strong team. It might be, pretty much the same team that lines up on Sunday, but they played, for example, Diaz, and I do believe I checked a couple of sites that he will still be out of this game. on Sunday. So hopefully, well, I say hopefully, I don't hope that anyone's injured, but it is a good omen for us. We can't deny that if he is out, although I hope, let's be magnanimous. I hope he does play. Let's be sports people about this. And I hope he does play, because it's good to play, test yourself against the best and all that. So City will be without Ruben Diaz from their back four, which was back in October, Cancelo, Laporte, Diaz and Walker. In midfield that day, they played Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. And up front, they had Foden, Grealish, and Jesus. So from that lineup, they are likely to, for example, maybe, Diaz is out and they'll bring Gundogan in maybe for Gabriel Jesus, who's a bit off form, and, probably make those kinds of changes. But you could argue that's a little bit weaker, whereas we will be a little bit stronger with the Diaz factor. And of course, the most amazing guy who I want to have a chat about, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has found even a new level for him, I think, Ryan. What do you think about Trent? I mean, can you see that kind of him coming back into the team, making a huge difference like I can?
I can, yeah. I'm really excited about Trent coming back in. I thought his performance against Benfica the other day was brilliant. Some of the balls he was playing, from the areas he was playing them, were unreal. And it just makes us that bit more threatening from everywhere. So I'm quite excited about that. I think them not having Diaz at the back is going to be telling. I don't pick on John Stones in the way that other people do. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for being, but I think Diaz is the better player. And if Trent can pick some of the holes in there, and people will talk about the defensive side of Trent's game all day, but I've long moved past the notion that he can't defend. I think his defending's brilliant. I think Milner got roasted everywhere by Foden in that game, and was relatively lucky to stay on the field. And I think Trent's got that extra recovery pace, which will help us. So we should be a little bit stronger, and hopefully they'll be a little bit weaker. And given our respective current forms, I think there's a lot of reasons to be confident. The more you talk, the more confidence I get. I'm measuring up to a 9 now.
I'm a 9.5. I mean, anything can happen because it's football, and that's why we watch it. But no, it's I'm secretly not secretly anymore. I'm very confident about this. There are some more interesting stats here. The one I wanted to look at is this one from Google, actually, from a Google preview, and it says this is the 50th ever Premier League match between the top two sides in the division, with the league leaders winning 20 and losing 18 with 11 draws. But it's the third such match between Manchester City and Liverpool, and I think City have edged it. Basically, they've edged it. We had a goalless draw in 2018, and then they beat us when we were champions 4-0. Do you remember back in that July?
We were all still drunk.
Project restart. Yes, exactly. Well, exactly. We were still drunk. The players were still, I don't know, on whatever they take. I don't know, Ribena, double Ribenas all round. But Doug, this I think we owe them one, because we have this awful record. We've lost 7, drawn 4, and won only 1 of the last 12 Premier League games there, and that's something that actually makes me optimistic, because I think we owe them one. I think the laws of averages mean that we're going to turn them over one day. Why not on Sunday? What do you reckon, Doug?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, obviously we did turn them over in the Champions League, famously as well. Salah Firmino got the goals that day. So, but yeah, I think the thing is, for me, we haven't really seen Manchester City under pressure yet. And I think were we to go there and win, it would put a major bookmark down to say that this Liverpool team is very, very dangerous. And you know what, Manchester City aside, I look at the team that they had earlier in the season. Gabriel Jesus is more of a winger anyway. So I don't think he'll start. I think you'll probably see Mahrez probably start. So you've got two of the best Algerian, the two best African wingers probably, in Riyad Mahrez and Mohamed Salah, for sure. I'm excited. I think the fact that we've got Trent on the right hand side now, obviously you'll see his whip balls in. You'll definitely see that as well. I think we're better defensively as well. Matip has been fantastic this season, and obviously you've got Ibu Kanate, who I know he made a mistake the other night, but you actually look at his goal as well. It's so nice to see him get on the score sheet. I think we've had now 20 different goal scorers this season, which is absolutely amazing. I think only out of the actual main first team, I think Joe Gomez is the only player not to score. So we're getting ever so closer to the whole team getting at least one goal this season. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. And yes, I do think we owe them one. And I think the thing is with this City team, yes, they've been getting results, but they've had to rely on a little bit of luck getting there as well. Whereas we seem to be beating teams like 2-0. Obviously, we had a 6-0 against Leeds one week there as well. Both of these sides have been absolutely relentless. Manchester City, I think, have taken 365 points since 2019. We've taken 364. Pep and Klopp are relentless as each other. So this is going to be an absolutely mouth-watering game, and I cannot wait for it.
There's so much to talk about. There's so much we could do. There's so much to get excited about. Yeah, great answer, Doug. Ryan, the form of the teams, I mean, both of them are just, crazy. I mean, City had a bit of a blip, which means like 2 draws. And, Liverpool have won 16 of the last 17 games in all competitions. There are a couple of standout. I mean, there are many standout players from a run like that, but there are a couple that I would like to talk about. One I've mentioned already is Trent, but another one is Alisson, because if you look at the XG table, Ryan, Liverpool should have, according to XG, conceded 27 goals in the Premier League. We've only conceded 20. We give away a lot more chances than other teams. For example, Manchester City's XG is basically 20, so 27 compared to 20. And a big reason for that is just the big beauty at the back, Alisson Becker. I think I'd like him to sort of be my brother. I'd like him to be my uncle. I'd like him to be my son. I just absolutely love the guy, Alisson Becker. But how important will he be? Like, if he has a very rare, like, I don't know if he's ever had an off game for us, but if he's on fire, I think he can be the difference, Ryan. The difference.
I think so. Okay, so the way I'd put this, you often hear people talk about strikers and like, oh, on such and such a day he's unplayable. And I think Alisson has that in him, where on certain days he is unplayable. His shot stopping is second to none. His command of his area is fantastic. It's not just the area that he commands either. Like, because the high line that we play, he basically commands the entire half at times, and can just push everyone into their half and then spray balls about if and when needed. And he's got this thing, this aura, and Peter Schmeichel had it in spades back in the day, where strikers going for goal know they have to put it right in the corner. And that's harder to do than just getting it on target. And a lot of shots will go wide because of it. So some of the shots that we will face will just be put over the bar because Alisson's in goal. You see it a lot with, I think last time we played Brighton, where they're just taking pot shots in hope. Just hope. Because if you're up against Van Dijk, he's going to take it off you, and then behind him you've got the best goalie in the world, and his distribution as well is unreal. So you're almost scared to have a shot in case he picks it up and gets us straight on the attack straight away. I think I'm hopeful that he has a quiet game on Sunday, but even if he doesn't, I've got every faith that he can be just as much of a match winner as any other player in the team, and that's not something I've said about Liverpool goalkeepers over the years.
I mean, he's clearly the best. That I've ever seen. I mean, I started supporting Liverpool in around about '88 with Grobbelaar. That I remember when I was a kid watching him, and he always looked a little bit dodgy, brilliant, but always a little bit erratic and a little bit of a loose cannon. And I absolutely loved him. I loved having such a wonderful character in goal. But Pepe Reina was the last time before Alisson Becker, Pepe's prime, where I was just 100% confident that our goalkeeper can just do what he was supposed to do at the right time and make the right decisions.
I always thought Reina was world class. And it took Alisson coming to the club to make me realise that I was wrong. Like there's a level just below world class.
I don't know.
And that's where Reina was. So Reina is essentially where I put Hugo Lloris in the hierarchy of world goalkeepers, in that he's incredibly good, but Alisson, Manuel Neuer, Casillas back in the day, just a little bit better all round.
Interesting. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. It does all depend on your definition of world class. I would say that Lloris in his prime was world class as well. Reina was world class in his prime, but Alisson Becker is beyond the stratosphere. He's intergalactic. So there we go. Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. Douglas, one thing we've got to talk about is I've been trying to get hashtag PGMOL out trending on Twitter. No, but seriously, and I do encourage everybody to use hashtag PGMOL out whenever you're complaining about the referees, which is a lot of fans, and for very good reason, because they are shit. But it's not just their level of decision making on the pitch, it's also the fact that yet again, we're going to have a referee from Manchester, from Wythenshawe, as the main ref, and the dreaded Paul Tierney in the VAR box. So this is the Paul Tierney who didn't send the referee to the monitor even to have a look at Harry Kane's red card tackle and decided that wasn't a red card. He didn't send the referee to the monitor when Jota had that clear penalty. Yeah. Those are just two examples, the first two examples that came to my mind. There is a stat going around that Liverpool have only managed to get 1.8 something points against the opposition when Paul Tierney has been the referee, compared to 2.6 points when he hasn't been the referee, or something like that. I think I think it's incompetent. It's more than incompetence. It should be like just not allowed to have referees for Manchester at the City of Manchester Stadium refereeing a Manchester City game in a title decider. I mean, it's idiocy, isn't it, Doug? How do you feel about it?
Well, I suppose the only answer to that is we did have Anthony Taylor when we went to Old Trafford earlier this season, and smashed them 5-0. So if that is a good omen, then we go and beat Manchester City 5-0. Nah, I'm only joking. I'm only joking, of course. But I don't know where they get the ideas of putting Anthony Taylor in this big game. Look, was it Michael Oliver that had the game earlier in the season? I can't remember. But
it was actually Paul Tierney who was the ref.
Was it actually Paul Tierney?
Yeah.
So Paul Tierney didn't send off James Milner, which is a bit of a shock in itself. But look, I think we don't need to worry about the referee, in my opinion. I think we just focus on our game. Obviously, Anthony Taylor does like a red card, so we have to be careful in that aspect. He does like a red card whenever it is a big game as well. And obviously, Paul Pogba got sent off the last time that we played Man United. So hopefully someone big gets sent off in this game. But no, look, I think we focus on our game. Don't focus on the referee. Don't give the referee an opportunity to do anything like stupid or like that. But Yeah, I was a bit despondent when I saw that. I just cannot believe we've got a Greater Manchester referee again. It's just ridiculous that.
It is ridiculous. Gary's in the chat. Hi, Gary. Gary Richards. He says the refs in this league are utter shite, and I don't want to spend too long talking about them because there's no real conversation apart from yes, they absolutely are. It's a very concise summary. Do you have anything to say about referees, Ryan, or particularly these ones, or in general the PGMOL?
So I'm gonna take a moment to disagree with both of you here.
Oh, good.
To an extent, not necessarily Doug, but whoever it was that talked about the referees in this country being shite. Whether they are or not, it's kind of irrelevant because they're the referees that we've got, and the referees that we've got are the same referees that City have got. We need to change the conversations that we're having about refereeing and referees in general, and just use rugby as a model and have a bit more respect for the job that they do. It's not an easy job. No one grows up wanting to be the next Mike Dean. And no one respects you. Everyone calls you all the insults in the world, all day, every day for your entire career. And it's not easy. I'm not saying that, we should be picking referees from Greater Manchester for Manchester-based games, but I know a lot of the referees in the PGMOL are from Manchester or the Greater Manchester area, and it's just going to happen every once in a while. I don't think that these, whoever's getting picked, there's some anti-Liverpool agenda there. I think they're just picking refs. And yes, Anthony Taylor got picked for the United game. I can't even remember. Paul Tierney got picked for this one. So we'll get on with it. I don't see it being the reason that we win or lose. And if it is the reason that we win or lose, you can come back and have a go at me for it.
Well, okay. I'm going to change the subject, but we'll leave it with Dave's comment. Dave from Dave's LFC Chats is also here. He says a thumbs up to Gary, and he says, fuck the refs, win the game. And that's beautiful stuff. Sorry. A way that we can win the game is tactically, Doug, because I want to talk about Man City's tactics, especially because, for example, I don't know if you saw this amazing diagram that was posted by James from StatsBomb today on Twitter, and it was from the Manchester City Atletico Madrid game. And you would imagine Atletico Madrid set up. I didn't see it obviously because we were watching Liverpool, and you would imagine Atletico Madrid set up with 2 banks of 5. But if I share this image as well, so you can see it, you will see that from Manchester City, Atletico Madrid the other night, it was actually Man City who set up with 2 banks of 5 in the Atletico half. But there were 2 very, very clear banks of 5, and they had Nathan Ake at left back, Laporte, Rodri, John Stones, and Cancelo a little bit further forward. But basically, they were a line of 5, and then their attacking players formed a very flat, very distinct line of 5. Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne and Mahrez. And I imagine this is how Pep's going to approach the Liverpool game as well. Try and camp as much as possible in Liverpool's half with these 2 banks of 5 in our half, and it's very, very difficult to find a way through. Kyle Walker will be back. So Ake will drop to the bench. So, of course, you've got Kyle Walker's recovery pace for any balls over the top. What's a way for you to get around this? Because it's very compact. It's very, very difficult to play around. And, for example, Atletico Madrid ended the night with 0 shots of any kind.
Well, it was. I didn't see this game. From what I can gather, is that apparently City only had 2 shots at goal, and it doesn't really surprise me because Atletico Madrid play the most Burnley-style football I think I've ever seen, ever. So, attacking them with pace. I've said it for a while. You saw them against Tottenham. They were done by pace. I think you had Son in behind. You had Harry Kane. You had Kulusevski. I think if you have a Mane, I think if you have a Diaz, I think if you have a Salah, even a Bobby, even a Jota. I think they are got to be at pace. I don't think their defenders are the best defensively. I don't think the defenders are the best. If we play, oh, if we play like we have been recently, I think you can get at this team, this City team, with pace. I really, really do. And I think if we did that, look, one of the main differences in this team for me, Thiago. We haven't seen Thiago play against Manchester City yet, and that is the reason I think we're going to win this game, is because of him.
Very interesting, Ryan. You fist pumped when you heard the name Thiago.
I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited. Like when you showed me that graphic, and I don't know if you want to bring that back up for us. Just one sec.
I can certainly, and
because
for the audio listeners, it's just the graphic of the 2 banks of 5.
I'll explain this as a go, but if you look at the 2 banks of 5, they're very compact and very narrow. There aren't a lot of spaces between the players, but the biggest spaces between the players out of all of these are between, checks notes, De Bruyne and Mahrez, between Raheem Sterling and Bernardo Silva, and between Nathan Ake and Aymeric Laporte. Now, from our perspective, that's Van Dijk on the ball, who is really good at playing 70-yard passes. That's Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is phenomenal at playing 70-yard passes. That's Mohamed Salah having a gap between fullback and centre-back. Give him that gap, he will take advantage. If they play like that against us, we will destroy them. Like the more information you give me, Owen, the more confident I get. I'm up to a 10 now. I'm 10. I'm so excited. And like you said, Doug, like Thiago, and picking up those little pockets of space, because even when he's got what you think is no time at all on the ball, he manages to give himself all the time in the world on the ball, and can play unreal passes, can take 4 players and sit them all down with one shrug of the shoulders. Like that model of having everyone camped in our half is exactly how you get battered by Liverpool.
So maybe they'll set up like Atletico then, Ryan. The sensible thing. What would you do if you were Pep?
I'd play without a DM, and if I was Pep, I'd deliberately shank it. I'd be putting like Mahrez in goal, just see what I could do to give Liverpool the win. But like, I don't know if there is a way to beat Liverpool. I think not a specific surefire way. I don't think there is one way that beats Liverpool. I think you have to be very brave. I think City will be. I think you have to attack, as I think City will attack. But you also have to be willing to suffer defensively. And I think they're willing to do that too. Whether they're good at it, I don't know. They're not Chelsea. They're not Tuchel's Chelsea in that they're comfortable just sitting in their own half and parking the bus and all that good stuff they associate with the Chelsea side. So there will be opportunities for us on the break, regardless of what tactics City employ, because they're so offensive. I think we've got the ability with the players there as well to go and beat them. And I'm really excited about it now. Just want it to be Sunday. I feel like it's Christmas.
It is. It's so good. It's
never been this good.
But the thing that will always work, you said about attacking with pace, Doug, and it's really good ideas. And Ryan, you were talking about exploiting. We got the passers to exploit the space. I mean, my tuppence on the tactical battle is something that's about it's about Diaz, and it's about that he's a sort of, he's a 10 out of 10 dribbler, and you can't, if you're a tactician, and you can't. It's very, very difficult to plan someone dribbling around a player or getting past a player, either on the inside or on the outside. It's very, very difficult to stop that unless you double up or treble up on that player. Imagine doubling or trebling up on Diaz. Then what? You're going to leave Mane in the middle. You're gonna leave Bobby in the middle. You're gonna leave Mo Salah on the other side. Obviously you can't do that. So Diaz at some point is going to be one-on-one. He's going to be one-on-one with Kyle Walker at some point. Kyle Walker is a fabulous defender in terms of his defensive skills. perhaps a little underrated by non-City fans as being a brilliant defender, because he really is. He truly is. But I think Diaz, I mean, he could dribble around anything. I mean, he could dribble around, some kind of boss monster at the end of, a particularly difficult computer game with, all the limbs. He would just dribble around. That's how he played these games, Doug, when he was a kid. He didn't used to fight the end bosses. He used to just run around them until they got exhausted and collapsed. But Doug, I want to go back to Trent. Because I think he's absolutely key for this game. And just one point that I heard on the excellent Anfield Index podcast the other day, a guy called Dave on there. I don't know his surname. I apologize for that. But he made a very interesting point. He said we could be witnessing, despite everything that Steven Gerrard did as an academy product, we might be witnessing in Trent Alexander-Arnold Liverpool's best player ever before our very eyes. And I think it's a very interesting topic. What do you think? Do you think we could be, that could be very well be the case?
It could very well be. I don't think Trent is the kind of player that will say he'll leave Liverpool. I think he's one that's probably going to end his career at Liverpool, in all honesty. He is getting towards sort of Gerrard numbers and obviously assists, and I think it's quite remarkable that we've actually got like the highest assister, the highest goal scorer, and obviously I think Alisson's now got more assists than more clean sheets than Ederson as well. So this Liverpool team is absolutely phenomenal. Just on the point of Diaz, he's one for the spectacular. He can go past defenders and then shoot. I think you might see him try a bit of a spectacular shot, because if I'm being honest, Ederson, he's not a very good shot stopper. I don't know if anyone's noticed this. I don't think Ederson is that good a shot stopper. His positioning is not the best either. So I do think if we do catch one of them off guard, I do think it could be Diaz with the spectacular. But Trent, we absolutely love Trent. Rival fans absolutely like comparing him to Reece James or Aaron Wan-Bissaka, as I like to call him, because he is shit. It has to be.
I prefer Wan-Ba rubbish, but okay.
Wan-Ba rubbish, yeah. But Trent is just a very, very special player. And I have to say as well, the assist the other night for Diaz, only Trent Alexander-Arnold can do that pass.
Oh, bad. Did you see? Because I saw a replay of that pass he played for Salah to put Salah 1-on-1. He was falling backwards, having just turned around, falling backwards on the touchline, and the pass, the grace and the elegance and the timing in which he struck the ball. It was grace, elegance, and timing of an Olympic figure skater. It was glorious and beautiful to watch, and it was sort of transcendent, a transcendent pass. And yes, the one for Diaz as well. So he did two, and I think he did one more. He did three in the same game that were just mind blowing. But yeah, I'm trying to find some save statistics from Ederson for you, but I'll keep looking at that. Ryan, I mean, I've got a question for you, Ryan, about the front three. Okay, so Klopp's been playing Mane in the middle. He's been playing Salah and Diaz on the wings, or the inside forwards. So I think there's an argument for Bobby Firmino, though. I thought Bobby Firmino came on the other night and he was absolutely brilliant. He touched the ball 32 times and he only gave it away twice. And the way that he knitted the play together, and defensively as well, very good. In the last match, he got 5 tackles, which was the most in the team. And I think we need Bobby. I think we need Bobby the Stitcher to stitch it all together to make us a beautiful Technicolor Dreamcoat on Sunday. Or would you go with the power, the danger? What would you do up front, Ryan? And I'm going to look for these Ederson save stats.
Fully agree. that we need Bobby Firmino in this game. I think Jurgen likes him in the big games. Against the better footballing sides, I think he acknowledges that you need someone to do the float and trying to block off passing lanes between the centre backs and the defensive mid, or generally just the midfield. Now, before I came onto this podcast, I had in my head, I was going to be like, yep, I want the OG front three. I want Mane on the left. I want Salah on the right. I want Bobby up the middle. But then I heard you talking about Diaz and the little moments of magic he's capable of, the spectacular he can provide. Someone was saying he's going to have Walker on a lead all game, and I kind of agree.
Yeah, that was Gary in the chat. Hi, Gary.
I think I'd like to see Diaz on the left. I'd like to see Bobby in the middle, and I know there are some questions over his form, and that's only because of the standards he sets. But Salah, I'd like to have Salah on the right. And I'm sure Mane and Jota won't be happy to be left out, but channel that, use it, come off the bench and bag a goal each, and we'll be all laughing. But Bobby, for me, you need him in that false nine role, knitting things up. I think particularly if you're going to do a lot more on the break than you used to, I think he's really good for that. His passing is unreal. And his technique, his ability to retain possession, particularly against a side like City, where you need to make the most of every time you get hold of the ball. You need to keep it as best you can, because they're really good at taking it off you again, particularly in your own half. And if you're going to play on the break, Bobby Firmino is the man for me.
Interesting stuff. Interesting. So, and actually staying with you, Ryan, because you mentioned Salah's form. He looked like he was wearing Wellington boots the other day in the game. I mean, his movement was as brilliant as ever, but he just kept either kicking it too hard or kicking it in the wrong direction. He couldn't control anything. I mean, are you worried about that? His general form since the AFCON, you could argue.
So I think form's temporary. And he'll go back to being the Mo Salah we all know and love sooner rather than later, and hopefully starting on Sunday. I think he's got a lot on his mind. He plays like a man who's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, between his contract situation being so public, between the whole AFCON thing with Mane, the final, and how that panned out, and then again, going away on international duty, having two legs against that same team and coming off the wrong side of it, between coming seventh in the Ballon d'Or. We know he's interested in being crowned Ballon d'Or winner. With all of the hype going, is he the best in the world? No, it's Benzema. No, it's Lewandowski. No, it's Salah. The whole argument. I think it's all a lot, and particularly as well, and I'm not sure enough gets made of this, but he's not playing in a settled front three. When Salah's at his best, it's been, he spent 3 or 4 years playing every single game, every single week with Firmino and with Mane, and now he's trying to incorporate Jota and doing really well with that, but also trying to now, since January, incorporate Diaz, and it's new relationships that he's got to learn. When to make that run so he can get that pass, when to play that ball so he can, if Diaz is 1 mile an hour faster at top speed than Mane, how do you calculate that pass? And with all of that on his shoulders, I think he has just had a little bit of a dip in form. And I think he needs one really good game or one really, really good goal, and he'll just click back into being his regular, amazing self.
I hope you're right. I can see that happening. But Doug, I'm a little bit worried about Salah, because just for me, he looks a bit fatigued. And I wonder if he could do with. I mean, I said this a couple of years ago with Bobby. Now Bobby's sort of back to his best, and he's had a lot more rest this season. And I think maybe it's time. Maybe not on Sunday, but in general, to give Mo Salah a bit more. Just send him to Butlins for a weekend down the lazy river with one of those rubber rings. Just to chill out. What do you reckon, Doug?
Butlins, my goodness.
Where do you go to relax?
I have to say, I do think that Salah does need a rest, and I think he might be rested against Benfica on Wednesday. I think he will. I think he might be rested against Benfica, and then get ready for obviously the Manchester double header that we have coming up as well. obviously an FA Cup and then United at Anfield. But the thing is, the thing is for me, Salah is a player that can just do something magical in these kind of games. He is a big game player. We've seen it all already this season. He loves a goal against Arsenal, scored against Chelsea, scored against Manchester United, obviously got a hat-trick against Manchester United as well. He is a big game player. And I do think he is going to be so key at the weekend that, yes, he might be a bit fatigued. Yes, he might be a bit tired. But on his day, he can still produce magical moments. And I do think we might see something magical from him on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's absolutely great point. He is a massively big game player. Aid is in the chat. Hi, Aid. He says he would go with Bobby, Sadio, and Mo. Gary's saying he would definitely play Bobby Dazzler. Who would you go for up front, Doug?
I would go for the OG, Salah, Bobby, and Manny.
Ooh, originals. Okay. So you'd leave Diaz on the bench, forget about his dribbling and his form and his pressing, and yeah, all right. Okay. So you got no qualms about Sadio's form or tiredness. I mean, he's played a lot of games this year.
He has, but I think just having that OG front three, I think would be good.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. So going back to that save percentage, I've got from FB Ref here. I can show you for the people watching, and I can just explain it to the people listening on the audio version. Save percentage in the Premier League this season. Wolves are actually top. So what's his name? Jose Sarr, is that his name?
Jose Sarr, yeah.
Yeah, he's top of the list with 82.8% save percent, which is crazy good. Next on the list is Edouard Mendy, the fabulous Edouard Mendy, with 79.1%. Alisson is third on 75.9%. And Edison's actually fourth on the list with 74.6%. A quick laugh because I had a look earlier. Pickford is down near the bottom of the list, 18th, 63.8%, because he's utter tripe. I mean, he's useless. He's absolute tool of a man.
And he's only got little arms.
And he's only got little arms. I mean, it's not his fault, bless him, the little-armed weirdo. No, okay. But anyway, back to the positives. Liverpool third on the list ahead of Edison, but Edison is actually a good shot stopper, although he doesn't actually, if you look at the actual shots on target, he's only faced 67 and he's saved 48 of them all season. Whereas Alisson has faced 83 and saved 62. Crazy dogs. And Jose Sarr, the best in the league, 122 shots faced and an incredible 102 saved. So, respect for him. Okay, don't tell Manchester United because they might actually get a good keeper for once. But anyway, yeah. So Manchester City, going back, I mean, Liverpool have won their last 10 matches in the Premier League. That's a beautiful, neat and tidy and glorious stats. We've won our last 10 matches in the Premier League, and Liverpool have been winning at both half-time and full-time in 8 of their last 10 Premier League matches. Liverpool have kept a clean sheet in their last 5 matches. Whereas if we talk about Man City, they have also won 8. Well, sorry, they've won 8 of their last 9 home matches, and they've kept a clean sheet in 5 of their last 7. Both teams have scored at least 2 goals in 5 of their last 6 matches. So basically, both teams are scoring loads of goals and conceding none. So something's got to change. Is it going to be 0-0? I don't know. Or is it going to be 10-10? Do you have any kind of prediction, Ryan, or is that just crazy to even begin to imagine what's going to happen?
I think it's going to be a mental game. I don't know. I can't necessarily predict the outcome. I just think it'll be absolute mayhem. I think it's going to be the best top of the table clash we've ever seen. I think it's the 2 best footballing sides in Premier League history playing against each other with all the marbles on the line. And I think the big players will do big things. And I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna make a prediction: 4-3 Liverpool.
4-3. Oh, great.
4-3.
Googly boogly, that's absolutely amazing. It sent my mind spinning and turning. Doug, would you be so bold as to say 4-3 or 5-4? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't. I was thinking of something along those lines, but actually, I just think we'll have too much for them. I really do. I am very, very confident going into this game. I'm going 3-1.
Wonderful stuff. 3-1. I think City are going to score. I think they're going to score. I actually think they're going to score two. I think Diaz is going to start and Salah's going to start. And I think they're going to score at least one goal each. And I think that we're going to have, I think 4-2. 4-2. I have reached into the crystal ball, into my crystal balls, and plucked out 4-2 to Liverpool. This is yes, it's going to be a cracker. I can't wait. Mr. Nice HK, absolutely wonderful to have him in the chat. He asks, "Hi guys, can I ask if you think Gomez could be good on the wing?" I presume he means maybe in a defensive formation, like instead of who? Please let us know. Or maybe he means just on the right side. If Trent is out, for example, I don't know, on the side of the pitch. Does Gomez work on the side of the pitch? At right back, basically. Doug? Oh, sorry, Ryan. Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to say no. I know he did really well to set up Shota's goal, but and he's got a good cross in him, but he's generally not comfortable enough on the ball in tight spaces under a lot of pressure.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought. His cross. A couple of brilliant crosses. I think he can do a job there. Actually, I think he can. Obviously no one's in Trent's league, but I think he could. I would be happy enough if obviously devastated if we didn't have Trent, but happy enough having Gomez as an understudy compared to anyone else we have or have had recently, compared to the Welsh guy that Nico Williams. I don't know why his name escaped me for a moment. What about you, Doug? I mean, how convinced are you with Gomez on the right hand side?
I think for like a couple of games, he's probably good as a right back, just to obviously come in for sort of rotation and all that. But I don't think he's quite a wing back or anything like that. Hello, Brian. By the way, I've just seen that in the chat there. That is Brian. No, I honestly don't think Gomez is a wing back. So no, not for me.
Yes, Mr. Nice HK has revealed himself to be Brian, and he's also asking a very important question: how is Alan's arse? I don't know. If Alan's in the chat, perhaps you can answer that, because a very important question. But yeah, I don't know. It's all going to happen. It's all going to kick off. It's the charge of the Light Brigade in the middle of the Valley of Death. I want to thank you very much, Ryan and Douglas for joining me. It's been more than a pleasure. It's been a delight to talk about the many ramifications of this game, or even some of the many ramifications, because we've hardly even touched the surface of all the many things we could talk about. But I can't wait. The thing I'm most looking forward to in this match is I really think, as Ryan was saying earlier, that it's going to be an absolute classic. And there's something I've always just loved about great football. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think, sorry, I haven't mentioned, I think City's tactics bore the shit out of it. They're really boring the way that they control games, like pass. I call it auntie football because, it's all slow, like my auntie, bless her. But she's not very quick these days. So it's auntie football. And it's, and it sort of bores teams into leaving gaps, and then they're brilliant at exploiting the gaps. So a brilliant football team. I'm not saying they're not, but I just find them dull to watch. But in this game, it's going to be intense, and it's going to be such quality from everyone. And I just can't wait. That's the thing I'm looking forward to most, is just seeing brilliant players do brilliant things. Is there anything in particular? And also Diaz. I'm really looking forward to watching Diaz. Forget it. Yeah, all of them. Trent, Virgil van Dijk, Joel Matip. Andy Robbo, haven't mentioned him for weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in red. Ryan, is there anything you're looking forward to more than anything else, or anything what's the first thing that comes into mind when you think, what's the thing you're looking forward to most?
I want to see Thiago versus the Man City midfield. Just want to see how he stacks up, because they're a really technically gifted side, City. Really good at doing really short passes really quickly in little circles around you. And I think Thiago, in another life where we're all cats, would fit perfectly into the Man City midfield in a very Michael Jordan versus the best of the NBA in Space Jam. I want to see what Thiago versus the best of Man City's midfield does, and I think there's every chance that he just runs the show.
Absolutely lovely answer. Doug, what about you? What's the first thing that comes into mind with something you're really looking forward to in this match?
I think Salah against Cancelo again, if I'm being honest. Had him on toast in the first game. I think he might have him on toast in the second game. So yeah, for me, it's Salah versus Cancelo. And yeah, obviously that lovely number 6 in our midfield is going to be very, very important.
Excellent stuff. Well, thank you so much again, guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Jack Mack LFC is there. He says, great show. Thank you very much, Jack. Great to have you with us. Gary Richards saying Fabinho. We haven't even mentioned Fabinho, one of the best defensive midfielders easily in the world right now. But in Liverpool history, I'd say easily one of the best defensive midfielders, one of the best defensive midfielders of all time for any club. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think he could get there if we start, banging in the goals and, cupboarding the trophies as we have started doing already. Thank you very much, guys. Take care, everyone. And roll on Sunday. You'll never walk alone. Thank you very much. Good luck.